Today we shall study about the impulse turbine blades. In that, first choice of blade angles. First is inlet blade angle beta 1. For shockless entry to the blades, the flat edge of the blade HG should make an angle beta 1 with the tangent of the wheel. The angle beta 1 being the angle made by the relative velocity at inlet. Then the angle made by the relative velocity is given by tan beta 1 equal to CB divided by CD equal to CF1 divided by C1 cos alpha 1 minus U. So tan beta 1 equal to sin alpha 1 divided by cos alpha 1 minus rho. This is the angle beta 1 based on the data at full load. So when the turbine operates at part load, the heat drop will be less. Therefore, the value of C1, value of jet of steam will be C1 dash less than the C1. So also is the relative velocity. It will be CR1 dash less than the CR1. So you can see from the figure that inlet blade angle will be beta 1 dash at part load, which will be more than beta 1, the blade angle considering full load. Therefore, when the turbine operates at part load for a considerable period of time, the inlet blade angle should be taken more than that obtained from the velocity diagram. Now, outlet blade angle. For calculating the outlet blade angle, area at the outlet of the blade should be considered. If S is the circumferential pitch of the blades, then width of the blade channel will be equal to S sin beta 2 minus T. T is the thickness of the blades. Then area through, if Z is the number of blade channels, then area through which the flow occurs will be equal to Z into L2 into S sin beta 2 minus T. L2 is the radial length of the blade. So therefore total area through which the flow occurs will be equal to Z into L2 S sin beta 2 minus T. So then volumetric flow at outlet of the blade is also equal to area at outlet into CR2. So therefore area at outlet of the blades, equating the area, this area required equal 10 raised to 4 mv2 by CR2 to this area, will get 10 raised to 4 mv2 by CR2 equal to ZL2 S sin beta 2 minus T gives, equating these two values, will get the value of sin beta 2 as 1 by S into bracket 10 raised to 4 mv2 by ZL2 CR2 plus T. This gives the outlet blade angle. Now, operation of impulse blading with varying heat drop or variable speed. We know that impulse turbine has a degree of reaction for impulse turbine is 0. So any departure from the heat drop from the specified condition of heat drop will result in a greater value of, will vary the value of C1, and which will vary also the blade speed ratio. Therefore, we will get a degree of reaction somewhat greater than somewhat positive or negative values, as shown in the figure. Also, we can see that the efficiency of blade varies with respect to blade speed ratio, as already has been discussed earlier. The variation of efficiency with blade speed ratio is also shown in the figure. Now continuity equation, M equal to A1 C1 by V1, small v1 equal to A2 CR2 by V2, where C1 is the velocity at inlet of the blade, CR2 is the velocity at outlet of the relative velocity at outlet of the blades. V1 and V2, small v1 and V2, small v2 are the specific volume at inlet and outlet of the blades. So A1 equal to pi d L1 sin alpha 1, A2 equal to pi d L2 sin beta 2. So therefore, substituting this value of A1 and A2 here, we will get, equating to this, we will get the value of CF2 equal to, we will get CF2 equal to V2 by V1 L1 by L2 into CF1. This equation has to be satisfied if continuity equation has to be satisfied. Then we want to find out, we want to study about the effect of, what is the effect of working steam on the stage efficiency of a Parsons turbine. What is working steam? While calculating the height of the blade, the leakage of steam takes place over the blade tips. The leakage of steam while flowing over the blade tips has to be taken into account when especially unshrouded blades are used. Here, what is that? M1 dot equal to steam flow through the blades. M is the total steam flow through the turbine. So leakage of the steam while flowing quantity of steam flowing over the blade tip is given by M beta equal to 3 epsilon by L full steam flow is equal to 3 epsilon by L into M, where L is the radial height of the blades. So therefore, M1 dot equal to steam flowing through the blades equal to M dot minus M leakage is equal to M dot minus 3 epsilon by L M dot. This gives M dot equal to 1 minus 3 epsilon by L. M1 dot by M dot equal to 1 minus 3 epsilon by L. M1 dot by M dot, M1 dot equal to by M dot equal to 1 minus 3 epsilon by L. This gives the ratio of working steam to the actual steam. Now we want to find out what is the effect of working steam on the efficiency of Parsons turbine. So here we can see, for work done on the blades is given by U into CW equal to M1 star, M1 dot C1 square, M1 dot C1 square 2 rho cos alpha 1 minus rho square. So M1 dot is the actual steam flowing through the blades. Then total isentropic heat drop per second is equal to M dot into total isentropic drop in the stage, delta H isentropic nozzle plus delta S isentropic blades. So M dot is the actual steam flowing through the turbine. So therefore, total isentropic heat drop per second is given by this equation, M dot C1 square by neta n 1 minus phi 1 plus rho square minus 2 rho cos alpha 1. This is the equation 6, which you came across while deriving the gross stage efficiency of a Parsons turbine. Note that M1 dot is used for finding the work done on the blades, and M dot is used for finding the isentropic heat drop per stage. Then the stage efficiency equal to N neta is stage efficiency considering the leakage over the blade tips is equal to M1 dot divided by M into the gross stage efficiency, considering the without considering the blade losses over the blade tips. Therefore, stage efficiency considering the flow of steam over the blades will be less than the stage efficiency without considering the obtained without considering the blade leakage losses. You can say stage efficiency equal to 1 minus 3 epsilon by L into stage efficiency without considering the blade leakage losses. Thank you.